Good morning, everyone, and wow, what a way to start the day. Bitcoin just reclaimed $111,000, while BlackRock clients casually scooped up another $107 million in Bitcoin and $111 million in Ethereum. So yeah, institutional appetite is absolutely not slowing down. Now, here's where things get spicy. Binance founder CZ just announced his book is dropping soon, made some comments about how tokenizing gold isn't really on-chain gold, and then Peter Schiff immediately challenged him to a Bitcoin versus gold debate. And guess what? CZ accepted. So we're actually getting this showdown, which is going to be absolutely entertaining. But the real headline today is that President Trump just pardoned CZ, calling him not guilty and saying he was persecuted by the Biden administration. And CZ responded saying he's deeply grateful for the pardon. So that's a massive development that changes everything for him and probably sends a signal to the entire crypto industry about how this administration views enforcement. On the regulatory front, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says the Senate is working hard on market structure legislation with strong bipartisan support, so we might actually see some clarity coming soon. Russian banking giant Alfa Bank is now offering Bitcoin buying and selling services. Fidelity just started letting US brokerage customers buy Solana, and Robinhood listed Hype, so access is expanding everywhere you look. JP Morgan expects the Fed to end quantitative tightening next week and forecasts gold hitting an average of $5,055 per ounce by Q4 2026, which is wild. The Russian ruble has gained 40% against the US dollar so far this year. Chinese state oil companies are halting Russian sea oil purchases over US sanctions concerns, and China is urging the EU to stop sanctions on Chinese firms. So the geopolitical chess game is getting intense. US national debt just broke $38 trillion for the first time ever, which honestly makes the scarcity argument for Bitcoin even stronger. And speaking of that, Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki says he's buying Bitcoin because it's truly scarce money with only 21 million ever to be mined. President Trump terminated all trade negotiations with Canada. Treasury Secretary Bessent is meeting with Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng tomorrow to discuss trade. And Trump is meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping next Thursday, so major trade discussions are happening at the highest levels. Coinbase, Ripple, and Gemini were listed as donors of President Trump's $300 million White House ballroom. And Trump literally told a reporter, quote, "You don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing. You're fake news," which is peak Trump energy. U.S. mortgage rates fell to the lowest level in over a year. Austin, Texas is now the strongest buyer's market in America, with home sellers outnumbering buyers by 130%. And Turkey cut interest rates for the third straight meeting down to 39.5%. Tesla hit record revenues of $28 billion in Q3, up 12% year over year. Intel revenue was up 3% to $13.7 billion. And Google Cloud and Anthropic announced a cloud partnership with over 1 gigawatt of compute capacity coming in 2026. Elon said Tesla's Optimus robot will be an incredible surgeon. And apparently AI is making humans work 100-hour weeks now. So the future is here, and it's exhausting. In altcoin news, a whale holding 1.6% of useless was spotted accumulating valor, which hit a new all-time high. Propi plans a pro token buyback using profits from acquired title companies ahead of its IPO, and Bunny DEX unfortunately shut down after a recent exploit forced growth to a halt. So between CZ getting pardoned, Bitcoin reclaiming 111,000, institutions pouring hundreds of millions into crypto, and Washington actually pushing for legislation, this might be one of the most consequential days we've seen in a while. Make sure you're following along because tomorrow's probably going to be just as wild. Catch you then.